This is Tacoincidence, where we learn the secrets of breakthrough brand experience from the most brilliant leaders while we're on the search for the perfect taco. Join us on Taco Stop number 2, Wow the Bugs Out. I met up with David Royce at Tacos Tu Madre near UCLA in Los Angeles. He founded Aptive Environmental, one of the largest and the fastest growing pest control companies in America. But for him, it's about much more than just getting rid of bugs. I wanted to learn why he believes in the power of brand experience, what he does to create it, and how it's helped him thrive. All over tacos. It really doesn't get much better than this. Oh boy, here we go.
Here we are. We
Okay.
have 2 Korean barbecue tacos. Yes.
Question, do you guys have limes?
We have limes. Yeah. Do you guys want any additional sauce on the side?
These two are yours. Crispy chicken breakfast taco. It sounds amazing.
Now I'm super excited. You showed me this place. I'm gonna bring my wife back.
It's not too far, right?
No, it's not far at all.
What is Aptive? What is it about Aptive that makes you guys tick? What
So we are
started it how long ago?
So we started Aptive about 3 years ago. Although I've been in
This isn't your
I've been in
first
the industry
rodeo.
a few years, around 14 years.
Yeah. How many other businesses in pest control did you start and sell before that?
Technically my 4th. So we would build companies and then we'd sell them in order to get capital, as opposed to private equity and trying to we scale so fast and we grow so fast that in order to have the capital to do what we wanted to do, we needed some sort of liquidity event to do that.
Yeah.
So it's worked out really great for us. It's very unique that we've been able to do that. Most people, they get tied into a non-compete and they can't. So we are currently in 27 states.
Wow.
We service customers in over 2,000 different cities. We're the fastest growing pest control service in the United States, maybe even the world.
What is it about Aptive that makes it different or special from your other businesses that you started?
I think the biggest difference is it's the core values, it's the company culture. We continually keep working on that. That you basically do that through your core values and amenities, benefits, all that sort of thing. So that's probably the number one thing with Aptive in terms of how we're different from the old days.
And how many people are on your team?
So we've got about 3,000 people now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's at the peak of the summertime. And then in the wintertime, we bring on this massive sales force in the summertime. Sure. And then we just maintain all the customer accounts throughout the rest of the year. Okay. In fact, we hit our 500,000 customer this past month.
500,000 customers.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is the level of customer and the numbers of customer interactions there just are mind blowing, right?
You're talking a couple million a year now.
Wow.
I learned that the company has to be a lot bigger than just me. It's not what would Dave do, it's what would the company do. What does the company actually stand for? And so it really starts with the employees. It isn't so much just customer focused. I mean, that's part of it, but that's less than half the game. The real game is really focusing on your employees so that they actually want to do what you're asking them to do with your customers.
Yeah. Well, and treating them as the rightful biggest asset that you have. I remember when I was running a nursing home, I had the thought, I was like, well, we have a really great mission statement we frame and train people on, and we put it on the wall, and we're proud of it. But how do I really make sure that it's not about, like the Scott show, it's not about the Dave show, but it's how do I integrate that mission and what experience we're trying to create in everything that they do and say when the team and leadership team isn't around. How do you really make that happen?
I think a lot of people, they look at it like, okay, we came up with these core values, we put them on our website so the customer could see it, fine, whatever, or
Right.
they frame it and they're like, good, check.
Right.
But it should be something that it's talked about on a daily basis. Your managers, that's the way we perpetuate it, is through our managers, and we'll have weekly and monthly incentives centered around specifically our core values. When we go to hire, we're hiring specifically looking for core values as opposed to does the person just have experience in the industry.
Sure.
That's actually at the bottom of the list.
Yep.
Would we rather hire for attitude and work ethic over experience? Fortunately, we're not rocket science, so we could train our people. Anything we need to.
Yeah.
It's like trickle-down happiness. Like if you treat your employees really well, then they're going to feel better about what they're doing. There's so many statistics around that. You've probably done a lot of that research, but with Harvard, they did a study and they said, look, happy employees, they are 20% more productive, and that goes right to your bottom line. Same thing with employee retention, happy employees. Columbia University had a study where you can retain your employees on average 35% more, than a place that doesn't have a company culture or where people aren't really happy, where they're just satisfactory.
Yeah. Even like a foundation for what you're trying to deliver for your customers or clients. But if you don't, regardless of whether or not you have a say in your company culture, your company has a culture. It's developed whether or not you want to be directing that and architecting that or influencing that, but the company culture is happening. And so why do you think that more leaders don't embrace that mindset, like your mindset?
Sure. I think that there's part of the problem, I think, is the key performance indicators that they're looking at. So they're held accountable for revenues and profits and earnings growth and all those sorts of things. Yeah. And those are all really important, but I don't think a question we need to add to the list is, would the customer recommend this service to their best friend?
Sure.
And
yes, the Net Promoter Score.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm not sure how many are looking at that, then how many are really promoting that. And then how many CEOs and executives do you know that actually get out of the office? You've probably seen the show Undercover Boss.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it seems like it's the first time they've ever been in an office. They're clueless. They don't know what's going on.
This is how you sling bags?
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is really hard. It's like, you've never been out here and actually seen this, try to make somebody's life easier or find a way to be more efficient or whatever else. So I think getting out of the office is a really big, it should be more important to most executives.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I think, they think, well, we've got people that are doing all that
for
us. But when you go out and you see it and just experience, you have not only a greater appreciation for your people, but you're seeing your business from the customer's point of view, the employee's point of view. Yeah. Hopefully you can do something about it. You're not leaving profits on the table.
So does this mean you're out spraying homes? Have you done that?
That's true. I have done it.
Yeah.
But not as much as I probably should, to be honest. I'll travel around, go visit the different offices, sit in and listen to our customer loyalty specialist, talking to people, listen to the manager and how he interacts with people, or her. And it's very valuable because you can give coaching. Is there something about being an executive and being able to talk to somebody? Their ears perk up. They listen a little bit more. I think.
Yeah. But I'd love to hear one of your company values is surrounded around this word "wow." Tell me about that. What is that? What's that all about? How do you guys enact wow?
So it's that concept of just going a little bit further than what everybody else is doing. So my industry is made up. There's 20,000 pest control companies in the United States. 20,000. And 90% plus are all mom and pop, single business owners.
Yeah.
When I was in college, the way I paid my way through school was doing sales in pest control. That's how I got into the industry. And I calculated the other day how many times I've knocked 60,000 different doors cold calling.
You have done 60,000 doors.
Yes.
So Malcolm Gladwell talks about 10,000 hours.
I got it. Yes. Yes. And then some.
Oh my gosh.
What's so interesting about that is that I got to hear everything from people in terms of what they liked about pest control, what they didn't like, the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah.
And then when I went and started my own company, I was able to take those experiences and say, okay, well, people are looking for more eco-conscious pest solutions. They want additional treatments. There's some pests that most companies, 90% of companies just aren't covering. So like slugs and snails. It's like most pest control is focused just on the home and saying we don't want bugs to get in the home.
Okay.
But then you've got slugs and snails eating up all the flower beds and everything else. And so the person's spending time on the weekend treating for bugs. And I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. You already have a pest control company, and they might as well do that too.
Yeah.
So it's the small details, I think. Some of those are larger in my mind.
Yeah.
And big changes, but the smallest of details in my mind are what really deliver the wow. It isn't just additional add-ons. So it might be, we know that a customer's name is gold to them. So it's one thing to walk up and say, hello, Mr. So-and-so. But it's another thing to say, hey, how is your dog Harry doing today? And actually, so we have a place in our special notes. We have iPads or whatever, and everybody can write down, what special notes you want for the customer. And so even if a different service professional goes out to the customer later, we know the dog's name, we know specific areas of treatment that just that customer likes. So we try to custom tailor the experience specifically for that individual. So we did have one customer where a service professional is pulling his hose across the yard,
Okay.
and didn't realize that there was this little wishing well that the customer's grandfather had made for them, I think 30 plus years ago.
Okay.
And it was on its last leg, but it ended up falling over and smashing into little pieces.
Okay.
And the customer called to complain to our company, and my manager, who just happens to do carpentry on the weekend, just for fun as a hobby, said, well, let me come out and take a look at it.
Yeah.
So he goes out, picks it up, takes it home for another, I think it was a week or two, and makes it a
Like all the
project of
pieces.
his. Yeah, picked up
Took
all the
all-
pieces.
okay.
Most of the pieces, he said, were just total. So he goes to Home Depot, just gets some stuff on his own, doesn't even ask the company. I think he paid for it himself even. And just put together this wishing well. It was basically an entirely new wishing well. Goes back to the customer, and puts it in the yard, and then he calls him and says, hey, I've got a surprise for you. Go ahead and take a look in your yard. And the customer called and was like literally crying on the phone, like thanking him, saying, that is so amazing. I can't believe you guys would even do that.
Yeah.
So, it's that concept. Like when I hear of an experience like that, it's okay. Are people, they're hearing what we're trying to ultimately deliver to our customer.
And how does that make you feel as the person that started this whole thing? That you've created this culture where wow is celebrated and wow is encouraged, and where you've created the environment where someone feels empowered to be able to go to Home Depot and do that, and that's going to be something of value.
It definitely feels good, but business, you learn it's so much more than just you. I can't take credit for all of it. It's my whole team. It's all of my people that are constantly trying to perpetuate it down. It's not only that manager, but it's his manager, and it's her manager above him, and as it goes all the way up to the top, hopefully somehow it leads back to me or to my executive team.
How does creating this idea of an extraordinary brand experience, where does that rank in importance in driving that success that you've had,
So I
in
think
helping you thrive?
I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, and I know it's this way for me, is some of the motivations you initially start out with, the idea of like providing a good living for yourself, and some of that it starts to fade away because you start to make a certain amount of money, and you say, okay, well, why am I really doing this? And I just see business as a vehicle in order to increasing happiness, providing work to people, developing leaders. Like ultimately, when I really ask myself 6 or 7 years ago, why am I continuing to do this? And I've sold multiple businesses. I could just retire at this point. It's I really thrive on developing leaders. Gandhi said that the true sign of a leader is not how many followers you have, but how many leaders you can create. And I love that, because that, to me, like that's it. That's why I do ultimately what I do, and delivering that wow factor, as a business, and making people, increasing happiness in a sense. I don't know how you can't get off of that and be super excited about it.
So a lot of people that are leading companies or in some sort of brand influence type position, they can be skeptical, but how do you respond to that? How do you respond to other leaders that say, you know what, that's a little too much. Like I don't want to do that. It's too expensive, too much time.
Sure. I think it's just it's a way to ultimately differentiate yourself as a competitor. I don't think everybody wants to go from 0 to 150 million in 3 years. Some people aren't excited about that. But what's great about it is that I feel like, number one, you're making the world a better place by going the extra mile and making people feel good. I believe that your employees, it's a mission that they can really get excited about. And you attract a certain type of person when you want to be that unique company.
Yeah.
And then the third is that the profitability, like it's there. It makes good financial sense to do it. And so like as a business owner, if truly you want to be selfish and make as much money as you can, why wouldn't you just do what's in the customer's long-term best interest so that they stay with you for the long term? Because then not only will your customer retention be better, but they're going to want to spend more money with you, in additional services or additional pests they want to get rid of or whatever it might be. So it's got to be long term, and it's tough. I think sometimes you see with public companies, they kind of have this short term perspective, and it's all about profit, and it's a little bit counterintuitive to think long term sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of amazing statistics. Like customers that have happy experiences spend 140% more. They're I think 500% more loyal. You know, like your revenues go up, costs go down, happiness levels are raised significantly, 10x. You know, when they're having happy experiences as customers, everyone wins. You know, it's always interesting to me because I think like you look at even at the fast food level, you have like Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out that kind of stand out as really exemplary customer and brand experience.
I mean, look at the food, right? Like there's a line out the door for In-N-Out or for Chick-fil-A.
At 2 a.m.
And then people are like dreading having to go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
What is most unique about what you said about an In-N-Out or a Chick-fil-A is that they had proven, it's before you mentioned the Ritz-Carlton, right? And this idea that, I mean, I think a lot of people write it off, right? Like, oh, well, it's Ritz-Carlton. It's supposed to be, high-end, luxurious.
Yeah.
But a company like Chick-fil-A has proven that the customer, the average customer, will pay a little bit more for increased happiness or at least less of a headache, right?
Right, totally.
I'll tell you this too, like privately. So like I've met Tony Hsieh a few times, and I've toured his headquarters 3 times, and he's been nice enough to let us like attend some cultural conferences and those sorts of things. And I asked him, I said, Tony, I said, you're giving away like your competitive advantage, and like you're literally telling me, and you tell all these people like in your book and podcasts and other things like what you do to make great customer service. I said, if it was me, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm a bad guy, but I don't want to tell everybody everything that we're doing because I don't want the secret sauce out there because my competitors will copy it. And I said, so why do you do it? And he looked at me and he just says, he said, the world would be a better place if everybody operated this way. And he says, I can't be selfish with it. I wish, he's like, when I get on an airline or when I go to a restaurant chain or whatever, and I wish everybody operated the same way. And he's like, the world would just be better.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, I got a long ways to go in my progression, right?
But you're making the world better.
Yeah,
I mean, think about
right?
You have 500,000 customers that are all all the people that are treating them have this mentality that you just shared, of this of going the extra mile, of delivering happiness, through bugs. Can you believe that?
I know.
I mean, who would have thought? Like, is that would you imagine that your career would have been built on bugs?
It's about the first. I thought I was going to investment banking in college. I mean, I did a total 180 on that one.
What else have you done with bugs? Have you ever eaten bugs? Because in Mexico City they have that like.
Yes, you go to other countries and they will serve you crickets or.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share about what it is you guys have created, the success you've had, the results you've seen?
I think it's just a lot more fun, when you're trying to do your best. I feel like we are happiest when we are striving for our greatest potential. I mean, I think that's what delivering well is all about.
Yeah, like you said, reaching our potential. I mean, it's a great experience that you shared about Tony Hsieh. I think the idea of the lasting legacy of, why not share all of this so that the world could be a better place,
Because ultimately, many of us are standing on the shoulders of somebody else. Somebody like you saw somebody ultimately help you get there, and Tony's definitely one of those guys for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's what the wow is. That's what the extraordinary customer and brand experience is all about. Beautiful showcase for that. Dave, it's been so awesome.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Special thanks to our host Tacos Tu Madre for creating the ideal place for us to talk about brand and customer experience. And their crispy chicken breakfast taco? Oh, breakfast of champions. Join our epic taco journey on our website. You're not going to want to miss out on our national taco tour we're planning when we launch the book, The Search for the Perfect Taco. So follow us on social media, subscribe to our channel, and tune into another episode of Tacoincidence, where we'll continue to explore the secrets to level up your brand experience and your taco game. And here it is, El Pilon.
Okay, so how long ago was it that you were in Mexico City? A year ago.
About a year ago, yeah.
That is like taco mecca.
It's amazing. It's such a good experience. I was expecting something so different from what the news and media portray of Mexico City, and it was fantastic.
It's just amazing. And the food.
Yes.
I mean, you guys had some good tacos.
Amazing tacos. Thanks to you.
Well, I mean,
Your recommendations.
that I have spent a good amount of time in Mexico City, but I'm always so excited when people are going because I'm like, here are places that you just can't live without. And I'm usually an under-promise, over-deliver kind of guy, but I can say with a great deal of confidence that when you go to Mexico City, you'll never be the same afterwards as far as tacos go.
We'll travel anywhere for food.